Today, I'm going to be running through everything there is to know about Helium 10. If you haven't heard of that before, it is a collection of brilliant tools for Amazon FBA sellers or just people looking to get into it. It covers product research, keyword research, product tracking, follow-up emails, profit tracking. Basically, if it's to do with Amazon FBA, it's probably that the guys at Helium 10 have thought of it. So I would highly recommend checking this video out to make sure you know exactly what it covers. Now, I think some people may know more about certain tools than others. So as this video might be quite long, I'm going to put the timestamps in the description box below. So you can just have a quick look through. And if there's a tool that you've not heard of before, or you want to learn more about it, you can just click straight into it and you don't have to worry about going through bits of Helium 10 that you've already covered. Now, one thing before I wanted to get into each tool individually is to have a quick discussion about the price point. Now, one of the biggest bugbears of people about buying tools for Amazon FBA is just the fact that they have to buy it. People say to me, do I really need to spend $90 or $100 on a tool for Amazon FBA? Is it really necessary? All I will say is, guys, this is a real business. I've said this many times before now, and you need to put it into perspective. In the last year on Amazon FBA, I have generated nearly £200,000 worth of revenue. Now, Helium 10, if you buy the a la carte plan, is $100. Now, $100 as a proportion of £200,000 is not even 1%. It is a tiny amount. So keep that in mind when you are thinking about how much you want to be spending on, software like Helium 10. I can tell you, when you're spending thousands of pounds on inventory, you want to make sure that you're doing your product research right, and you want to make sure that you're running your business in the best way possible. So please do not scrimp when it comes to things like this. I have actually got a 50% off voucher also in the description below, which will, it's 50% off in your first month, which will really ease the pain. Or alternatively, I've got a 10% off every month voucher. That's also in the description. So check those out. So let's run through each tool in the video together. And then when I've done that at the end, I'll explain to you when I think you should get Helium 10, what tools I think you should get at the beginning of your journey or whether you're already selling, so that you can make sure that you're making the most informed decision. So before we get into it, guys, please do remember to subscribe if you enjoy this video. And of course, you can give me a like and comment in the comment section below. So let's get into Helium 10. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to cover together is the Helium 10 Chrome extension. Now, I would 100% recommend that you all get this, whether you're paying for Helium 10 or not. And the reason for that is that there's quite a few features on the Chrome extension that are completely free, that you don't need to pay for, and that are really, really useful for when you're doing Amazon FBA. So this is what the page looks like. I think if you just click here, download Chrome extension, that will automatically download to Chrome. And the Chrome extension actually includes a number of kind of mini tools. So let's just quickly run through them together now, and then I'll show you how they work in practice. So the first thing is X-Ray. Now, X-Ray is essential for doing product research, and that is very similar to Jungle Scout's Chrome extension. So essentially, you'll search for a product, you'll press the X-ray button, and it will tell you, it'll give you a bird's eye view of how many units each competitor or each seller is selling within the product niche that you've just searched for. So that is a really useful and essential tool for when you are doing your Amazon FBA product research. Then the next one as part of the Chrome extension is the ASIN grabber. Now what that does is it basically allows you to type in a keyword on Amazon. You'll get a load of listings, and then rather than individually clicking into each one and copying the URL or the ASIN, which is like Amazon's category number, this program here will just collate them all for you together into a single spreadsheet, and you can then use that for when you're doing your pay-per-click advertising campaigns, when you want to start targeting all of your competitors with your adverts. So that is another really good tool. That's a time saver, if anything. You can do it manually, but this one basically will take probably about 10 or 15 minutes work and just do it all for you in about 5 seconds. Then the next one is the profitability calculator. So in the last video, you may remember me talking about the importance of remembering to include things like VAT and things like that, hidden costs that you might not think of. This profitability calculator, it does it all for you. You literally click onto a listing, you press the button, and it will give you an estimate of how much profit that seller is making after all of Amazon's charges and stock costs. Then the next one is inventory levels. So this is another essential thing that you 100% must make sure you're doing, is actually checking your competitors' stock counts to verify that Helium 10 and Jungle Scout's sales estimates are actually correct. So that's something else that's really important. And then review downloader. That is just as what it sounds like. It downloads reviews, and I'm going to show you why that's really important in a second. So let's just head on to Amazon. And just as a basic example, let's just type in dog lead, and I'm going to show you now how useful Helium 10's Chrome extension really is. So the first thing you'll notice is, look at this, we've kind of got some additional information. Now, for those of you that might be big fans of Amazon, you probably know that that is not normal. You never normally get that level of detail. This is Helium 10, the extension, already starting to make your Amazon FBA research a lot easier. So here you can see that we've got kind of a little bit of extra information. We've got kind of this number here, which is the best seller ranking, and that's basically this product's position in Amazon's charts. So similar to like a music chart. So that is really useful. Obviously, the lower the number, the better, which means that they're making more sales. So that's something that's really good to be able to quickly see when you're just scanning through. And then you can press show here on each individual one, and that'll kind of give you a very quick snapshot of the product. So this graph here, you might be thinking, what on earth is that? That is just the bestseller ranking, so the product's position in the charts over time. And this is a really good way of being able to quickly spot whether a product is seasonal or not. So here, you can see that the bestseller ranking has kind of been similar or thereabouts, and then here it just suddenly shoots up. Now, we can see, because of this blue line here that just cuts out, the reason it's done that is because the product's sold out. So if the blue line, which signals the price of a product, just disappears, that means the product is no longer available for sale. So in all likelihood, the seller probably sold out. So you can see here that the ranking shot up because the seller's not making any sales, because they're out of stock. But if they were in stock and you were seeing this pattern here of the bestseller ranking increase and then decrease, well, you could kind of guess that it's probably because the product is seasonal. So if the bestseller ranking crashes down in, say, December and then goes all the way back up for the rest of the year, maybe it's a product that only sells at Christmas. So that is a great way of being able to quickly see whether a product is seasonal or not, or just a good way of seeing whether a product has recently become popular or not. So that's just a little snapshot which makes your kind of searching on Amazon a lot quicker, and that is just a very small part of this Helium 10 extension. So we've searched for the product. Now, I have done a previous video before on how to use the Jungle Scout extension, and I put a link up in the corner now, but the video for that applies here as well. The Jungle Scout extension is basically the same as the Helium 10 one. You literally just type in your keyword, you press the Helium 10 extension, and then you want to click on X-ray product research. And then what's that doing? What that's doing now is it's looking at all the listings, it's collating all the results, and look at this, immediately you can see all the sales that each seller of these dog leads is making on a monthly basis. And this is a really good feature as well of Helium 10 that I don't think is available on Jungle Scout, and that is the sales over time. So let's say, for example, this seller here, it says they're doing about 1,000 units a month. Well, if we were like, okay, let's just have a look at how their sales have been over the last month, you just click into it and you can see here straight away, you can see Helium 10's kind of estimate of what the daily sales are over the last month. So that gives you a really good idea of how the sales have been over the last month on a day-by-day basis. Now, as I've advised before, you can't just rely on this on its own. You need to also make sure that you're doing your own manual tracking. You need to make sure that the Helium 10 figures are right. They're not going to be completely accurate because they're based on like an algorithm, and they're based on the bestseller ranking and all sorts of different things. So the most powerful and most accurate way of being able to tell of whether Helium 10's figures are right is by checking yourself. And there's tons of videos of how to do that on YouTube, so just have a search, but it's imperative that you do that. So another feature of Helium 10, so that's the Helium 10 X-ray tool there. Again, you can watch my Jungle Scout video to learn how to analyze the figures on the extension. The next really powerful tool is the async grabber. So you literally just press that, and immediately you've got all of the different asins here. So you can literally just press this download button. It will load Excel and it will give you every single asin, so the category number, and then it's just a case of copying all of those and pasting them into your Amazon pay-per-click advertising campaign. And then you've got like loads of competitors that you can start like targeting and putting your ads on their pages. Now, before Helium 10 was possible, what you'd have to do is click onto a listing, wait for it to load, scroll down, find the asin box, which is here, double click, copy and paste. And that would take quite a bit of time, you know, if you're doing it manually, whereas Helium 10, it does it for you, all in a couple of seconds. Now we're on a product listing page. Let me show you this as well. This is, again, a brilliant feature, and this is one that's actually free. It doesn't cost anything. So you can see here we've got a little score, an evaluation result, and what that is doing, it's kind of having a guess or an educated guess at how optimized this listing is. So again, guys, don't just rely 100% on this. You need to use your own judgment. This is just a good kind of indicative way of being able to quickly tell whether a listing is optimized or not. And if you roll over it, it'll kind of tell you how it ranks it. So it does it on how many images does the seller have? Is the main image background white? Is the title a good amount of characters? Is it just a couple of words, or is it using the full available amount? And you can kind of, in your own time, have a look through all of those. But what it's telling you is if the score is very low, that's telling you that there might be an opportunity there just by having a better listing than the seller. So that's another part of the Helium 10 plugin. And then again, this is my favorite part actually, this graph here. So this is one that we've already kind of just seen a few minutes ago. This is the best seller ranking over time. Now, why is this my favorite? Well, first of all, this part is actually free. So again, guys, download the Chrome extension and you'll get this for free. There's other companies that do it like Keeper. Again, I'll put a tutorial in the corner now from a video I've done before where I teach you how to use this, but there's a tool called Keeper that basically does this, and they charge now. It used to be free and now it's about £20, I think, a month. You don't need to do that. Helium 10 gives it you for free. So again, just to show you kind of the power of it, if this seller had changed their price a lot, this blue line here would change. So you can see here, they put the price to £6.59 and then they lowered it. So that's quite useful to know just whether maybe you're buying something yourself, or if you want to see if the price of a product has come down over time, which might indicate that it's quite a competitive niche. And then on top of that, you've got the bestseller rank. So you can see, let's change it to all time. You can see here when they first started to sell, they were selling at $6.99 and the bestseller rank, so the position in the charts, was about 9,000. Then they lowered the price and then it took probably a couple of days or something, and then look at that, the bestseller rank is reduced, and then they've been quite a good seller ever since then. So that is a great way of kind of analysing the impact of price changes and how competitive a niche is and all sorts of things. So I would 100% recommend getting that one right there. And then let's just cover the other parts of the extension that we've not covered. So inventory levels, again, you just click on that and it tells you how much stock the seller has got. Make sure you're tracking that every single day, and then you can kind of analyze how many sales each seller in your niche is actually selling. And then what else have we got? Profitability calculator. You just click into it, everything fills out. I think the only thing you need to fill out is your stock cost. And then it just literally tells you your ROI, so your return on investment, your profit margin, it basically just gives you absolutely everything you need. So again, I'm pretty sure that part of the tool is free as well. So again, a brilliant part of the Chrome extension toolkit. And then finally, and this one is a brilliant idea that I don't think any other provider is offering at the moment. It's the review downloader. So let's just actually use it. I don't think this is going to be a good one because this one's only got 5-star reviews. Let's find one that hasn't got all 5 stars. So this one here has got 4.5 stars. So it's got some bad reviews or some reviews that aren't 5 stars. Now, if we click into the Chrome extension and then click review downloader. Now we can now say we only want to see reviews that are 1 and 2 star. And then if you really wanted, you could be like, I only want to see 1 and 2 stars from a certain date, but let's just click 1 and 2 star. Actually, I think I might have done that the wrong way. I just want to do that. Yeah, I only want to see 1 and 2 star. You press extract and then look at this. It's awesome. It's downloaded every single review on that listing that is a 1 and 2 star. Now, you can have a quick read through of those and you can be like, okay, every single review is commenting on the poor quality of the clasp maybe, or of the color or something like that. And then guess what you can do with that? You can use that for when you're ordering your product, and you can make sure that your product doesn't have those things that other people are complaining about. So that is a great way of basically quickly being able to see the downfalls, the negatives of a certain product niche that you're looking at. And then if you press analysis as well, you can see the most common kind of words that are cropping up. So here, look, the lead snapped, broke after. 6 people have said that. So immediately you're like, okay, maybe this one's not too good quality. I'm going to make sure that my product, when I'm actually sourcing it in China, when I'm getting my sample, I'm going to test it and make sure that my product doesn't have that either. So that is the Helium 10 Chrome extension. I think I've covered everything there. Yep, pretty sure I have. So as mentioned, guys, make sure you get this. It's completely free, doesn't cost anything. And I think actually most of those features there, apart from X-ray, you get unlimited use of. The X-ray tool, I think you get like 10 searches a month, something like that. So if you're really, anxious about spending money, I would say get this now, test it out, and then of course you can upgrade to the unlimited usage plan. So Helium 10's Blackbox is a product research tool that essentially searches the entirety of Amazon using criteria that you've told it to search for. So this is what it looks like. For those of you that have used Jungle Scout before, you might kind of think this is quite similar, and you're right. It is very similar to the web tool that Jungle Scout offers. I actually prefer Helium 10. I think it's kind of got a few more filters that are pretty useful to be able to use. So this is what you do when you're doing your product research. So you come into it, and then you might say, okay, I want to kind of look at products within the baby product niche. That's the niche that I want to select. You can do multiple ones, but in this example, let's just say that we thought of a really cool baby brand, or we just had a baby, so we thought that was something that we wanted to sell in. Then you can say, okay, Helium 10 Blackbox, I only want to see products that have got a monthly revenue of, say, £10,000 per month. So products where the seller is making £10,000 worth of sales per month. Then price, you can say, okay, I only want to see products that make £10,000 worth of revenue a month, and the minimum price is £12. Now, generally, I would recommend going no lower than this. When you start going a bit lower than like £10, your margins are going to be quite thin, because don't forget that Amazon's fulfillment fee is fixed, and you'll find that by the time you've done advertising and refunds and all the other different types of costs, there's not really much left on the table for you. So that is up to you. That's my advice. I normally look at £12 minimum, ideally higher than that. And then you can say, okay, reviews or ratings, whatever Amazon are calling them now, I want to see products that are selling £10,000 worth of revenue a month, minimum price of £12, and the maximum review, say, is 200. Now, reviews are something that people on YouTube and Amazon teachers and things like that kind of say be wary of. My advice is don't be put off by reviews, provided that you're offering something different, that you're able to differentiate and think outside the box. I wouldn't be too put off by reviews. I'd say, maybe if the entire page is full of sellers with 500 plus reviews, then it's probably going to be too competitive and there probably won't be much like room to differentiate. But I wouldn't say write it off completely. Make sure that you have a look through all the listings, and yeah, if they are all 500 reviews and more and whatever, and there is no room to differentiate, then yeah, it's probably too competitive. But if you can genuinely think of something different to do, something that isn't already being offered, then don't be put off by it. But just in this example, sorry, a little detour there, 200 reviews. And then this is another really good thing that you could say. You could be like, okay, let's look at the products, the sellers, where the maximum review that they have is 4. So that would kind of indicate already, wouldn't it, that there's room to improve. So somebody's making £10,000 worth of sales per month, but they've only got a 4 score review rating. So that's another way that you can kind of look for an easy way to possibly differentiate. And then in advanced filters, I'm not going to kind of use these all now, but you get the gist. You can look at products as well on top of the filters that you selected that have increased in sales year on year by whatever percent. You can look at products that have increased in price in a certain amount of most recently. You can look at products that only have a certain amount of images. There's loads and loads of different things that you can do. And then, of course, you can look to exclude various keywords. So maybe you don't want to include a certain brand name. You definitely don't want to be competing against, much bigger sellers with huge brand recognition. So as soon as you've done that, you literally just press search, and then straight away you've got products that Helium 10 is telling you match the criteria that you've selected. And then it's just a case, guys, of having a look through these and thinking, okay, Tommy Tippy Closer to Nature complete feeding set. That's interesting. I could possibly look at doing a feeding set for newborn babies. You would just click into it. It'll load Amazon. You can then have a look through it and be like, okay, that looks quite interesting. And then again, you just start doing your product research as you would normally. This is a great way of introducing new products to you that you may not have thought of, you may not have known, you may not have even known had existed. So again, I think I might have done it already, but there's a link in this video about how to use the Jungle Scout Chrome extension. That's just what you do now. You then use your own keyword with this tool, with Amazon, you type in baby feeding set or whatever, and then you'd start doing your analysis that way. So that is exactly how the Blackbox tool works for your products. Now, this is something recently that Helium 10 introduced as well, are these little new tabs here. So let's click into keywords. So that's a way of being introduced to new products. Now, this is something that I don't think Jungle Scout offers either, but again, this is really thinking outside the box and brilliant for product research. So let's say that we don't really have an idea of a product yet, but we want to think a bit broader. What this will do is it will show us keyword ideas that people are actually searching for on Amazon. So let's say we want to say to Helium 10, show me keywords that people are searching for on Amazon at least, 3,000 times a month. So in total, cumulatively, I want to see keywords that are being searched for 3,000 times a month and that are linked to products that are making £10,000 worth of revenue a month and that are sold £12. So if we then click search, let's see what it throws up. So look here, straight away we've got lots of keywords that match that criteria. Now, Dell laptop, desk, probably not because they're like massive brands. House phones, okay, that's interesting. The revenue on that is $4,200 a month. I wouldn't have thought that, given everyone's got mobiles these days. But anyway, you can see here handheld steamer. You can see here how powerful this tool is, because now we might have been like, what's a handheld steamer? Looked on Amazon, looked at the products, looked at the search results, at the sales, and you might be like, oh, brilliant, that's a product that I didn't even know existed. It's got good keyword search data. and it's got good monthly sales. So that again is something that is really, really powerful at introducing you to new product ideas. So those are the two most powerful parts of the Blackbox toolkit. On top of that, you've got the competitors, niche and product targeting tools as well. I haven't used those as much, but those essentially will just show you like the list of competitors associated with the product that you're trying to search for and things like that. I would say the most powerful part of Blackbox is the product search tool and the keyword search tool. So if you're running out of ideas for products to look at when doing Amazon FBA, I would recommend using this tool to kind of introduce you to new products that you've probably not heard of before. So Trendster is a tool for analysing the level of seasonality and whether the product that you found is a trend or a fad or not, which is something that is really important. When you're selling on Amazon FBA, you don't want to be selling a product that only sells well at Christmas and then for the rest of the year sells nothing. We want to find a product that sells throughout all of the year to make sure that we're making as much profit as possible and to make sure that we're not paying like unnecessary storage charges. So it's a relatively easy tool to understand. I'll show you now. So the best way of me showing you how powerful it can be is by putting in a really seasonal product. So I'm going to put in here a Christmas tree ASIN. So here you put in the ASIN, which is the identification number, the catalog number of a product on Amazon, which I've shown you how to get earlier on in the video. And here we'll put in a phrase associated with the product if we want to check out what the Google Trend data is saying. So let's have a look at what Christmas tree says. You literally just press Start Trendster, and then what it does is it will load the product that we found. And then what I would say is change the BSR table, the bestseller ranking table or chart, sorry, to 1 year. And then look at this. Immediately you can see something's going on here. It doesn't quite look right. It looks like it might be seasonal. So how do we know? This is the bestseller ranking in March here. 188,509. That's where it is in Amazon's charts within the category that it's sat in. But then look at this. Beforehand, the sales rank, the bestseller rank is like 791, 577. It's far lower. So you can see, you can like guess that it's probably seasonal. And of course, it's a Christmas tree. Of course it is. So I think even here, that's what they're doing. Yeah, they're taking advantage here of the supply and demand. The price here is £26.99. And then a couple of weeks before Christmas, they increase it to £63. So that again, this tool here is really good at being able to spot when sellers are a bit cheeky and they're increasing the prices and decreasing. Now, the Helium 10 Chrome extension already includes this here. So whenever you go onto a listing, you'll see this chart anyway. But what Trendster does as well is it gives you the Google Trends data at the same time. And you can see here that it looks pretty seasonal, doesn't it? It kind of increases around August actually, which is a bit strange. Oh no, sorry, this is the past 30 days. I want to change that to year, and that should give you a better indication. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so you can see here that as it's leading up to Christmas, of course, search volume and anything associated with Christmas trees spikes right up, and then as soon as Christmas is over, it falls down. So this is a great tool at being able to kind of confirm your suspicions of whether a product is seasonal or a fad or something like that. So make sure you use this tool to ensure that you're not buying something that is going to sell really well in one part of the year and then not sell at all for the remainder. Magnet and Cerebro are keyword research tools that, whilst they might be nice to have for when you're doing your product research, they are essential for when you actually have found your product and for when you're kind of writing your listing and doing your back-end keywords. So I'm going to show you quickly how to use them and what they're for. So first of all, let's just load up Magnet, and you can see here I've typed in yoga mat. Now, what Magnet does, it essentially pulls together, just like a magnet, all the different keywords that are linked to the word magnet within Amazon. So you can see this is the kind of overview, the summary of what I was presented with when I typed yoga mat in. So We've got high level information about the search volume here. We've got the top products associated with that keyword and the word frequency. So that word frequency there is pretty useful for when you're actually writing your listing and you want to make sure that obviously the most popular ones are included in your listing too. And then you can see here as we kind of look down, these are all the keywords associated with it. I actually find that when you're filtering your results, so I'll typically go for word count minimum of 2. Sometimes if you just have word count of 1, you'll be presented with rubbish. But what I would say is where it says match type, change it to organic. So nothing that's to do with sponsored listings or anything like that. And then if you want, you can filter out the search volume. I typically don't tend to do that. I'll just do organic. And when you do that, you'll see that the results are a bit more linked to your product. So before there, we had all sorts of random things like the hundreds. I don't know what that is, but you'll have things that are actually linked, more closely linked to the product that you're searching for. And the reason that I didn't search for or filter for search volume is you can literally just press it here. You can order it by most frequently searched. So let's just do that there. I may have already done it. Yeah, I'd already done it. And you can see here straight away, we've got loads of keywords that we need to make sure are in our back end for when we're doing our listing. So if you don't know what that means, that basically means you tell Amazon what search terms or what keywords are associated with your product so that Amazon knows to show your listing when customers search using those keywords. So you can do that. And then also what it's actually really useful for when you're just doing your product research is just kind of helping you to identify a niche or an area within this niche, so maybe a sub niche that you could serve. So for example, here, yoga mats non-slip. So you might have just thought, okay, I want to sell a yoga mat, but what about targeting people that want non-slip yoga mats? So it kind of helps you to identify a niche within a niche and identify things that people are searching for, like to do with problems that they've got. So remember, with your product, you want to be a problem solver, you want to differentiate. So here, let's just say, for example, that non-slip yoga mat wasn't anything and it hadn't been invented yet, and you just seen that people are searching for yoga mats that don't slip. Well, straight away, that's an area for you to differentiate, isn't it? You can come out with a yoga mat that doesn't slip, and straight away, you've differentiated and carved yourself out a niche. So that's what the magnet tool is. Now, Cerebro is very similar, except what it does this time, instead of you actually typing in a keyword, so let's just head on over to Amazon. Instead of you typing in a keyword, you tell Cerebro a competitor that you've got, so or that you'll possibly have if you list in that niche. So let's just copy this ASIN here for this competitor. You paste it in, and then you can just say either get competitors or get keywords. Here we want to get the keywords. Don't forget to change that to amazon.co.uk. Yeah, that's loaded. Press get keywords, and now what this is going to do is it's going to show all the keywords that competitor of yours is ranking for, that competitor is appearing for in search results. So that is really useful again for when you're doing your back-end keywords, because you want to make sure that any keywords that your competitors have got, that you've got as well. And it's also just really good for making sure that you've got all your keywords in your title and your listing and so on and so forth. So just as before, guys, I would say change your match type to organic, press apply. I've got my word count to 2, and if we do that, let's see the results, and straight away you can see here these are all the keywords that this listing appeared for. So what I would recommend here is, instead of just doing one listing, I would put in, say, 5 or 6. You can paste them all in there, and that's what this get competitors thing does. It will show you all the competitors' ASINs, so you can just quickly be like, yep, I'll have that one, and that one. Yep, close that, and then straight away you can see it's copy and pasted it in for you. And then as soon as you press apply, it will now show you keywords that all 4 of those listings will appear for. So obviously these keywords, 1,400, it's far too much, way too many to be putting in our back end. But as soon as you start using your filters, so you could say, I only want to be shown keywords where all 5 of these competitors appear for. As soon as you do things like that, that's when you're able to really hone in and narrow down on the most powerful and the most frequent keywords. And that is probably one of the easiest ways to make sure that you rank, climb to page 1, and absolutely smash it in terms of your sales. Okay, so Frankenstein is essentially like a keyword sorter. So as soon as you've used Cerebro or Magnet, here we're using Magnet, you just go on export and then export to Frankenstein. Now, you will have seen that huge list that I just had of Magnet there of keywords. There was loads and loads of duplication, so yoga mat, yoga block, yoga socks. With Amazon, you don't need to keep in typing yoga mat, yoga block, etc. You just type in yoga mat, block, socks. You don't need to keep on typing yoga. So what Frankenstein does is it will remove duplicates and it will basically just sort your keyword data to make sure that it's like formatted correctly so that you can basically copy and paste it into your back end. So it's not too complex at all, and it might not seem like the most amazing thing, but again, it's just about streamlining the process and making it as easy as possible for you. So I've exported it here into Frankenstein in order of search volume. So that the most searched for phrases are at the top all the way to the bottom. I've got remove duplicates ticked, and you can add other stuff as well if you like, but these are my filters that I do. And then just press process, and straight away, look at that, we've gone from 2,180 characters down to 641. So, you know, it's a great way of basically reducing down duplicates and just streamlining the whole process for you for when you're doing your back-end keywords. Scribbles is a tool to help you optimize your listing on the front end, and it works exactly like this. So I'm just going to continue from the keywords that I've got from Frankenstein and Magnet and Cerebro. So here I will just copy the keywords that I've got. Then we'll go into Scribbles, and all you do is paste it in here, change that to amazon.co.uk, and then press apply, and that'll update all the metrics. So here you can see words. These are all the words that kind of come up within our keywords that we've typed in, and that will help us to basically write our listing. So let's say here that we're selling a non-slip yoga mat. So we can type in non-slip yoga mat, and then you can see as soon as we do that, it starts ticking them off and crossing them out. So that is a really good way of kind of telling you which keywords you've included and which ones you haven't included. So by the time you've written your whole listing in here, so that will be your title, your bullet points, your description, and your search terms. Don't worry about subject matter. That isn't in the UK yet, that's just the US. But for those ones here, as soon as you've written those, you should look at your words and your phrases bits, and they should all be crossed off. You need to make sure that you're using all of your keywords, and make sure that you're not just jamming them in. Make sure that they flow naturally and they don't look like that they've been put in by a robot. So again, Scribbles is a fairly simple program. It's not too complex, but it's essential at making sure that your listing is completely optimized. As I say, you write it all out, and then you can quickly look at which keywords you're missing out on and which keywords are most frequent, which should be the most important ones. The Misspellinator tool is something that is really underused, but it is so powerful. And what it does is it looks at all of the keywords that you've got, that you've pulled from Magnet and Cerebro, and it looks at the most common misspellings that people make when searching for those words. So let's just put it into perspective. I'll paste in my yoga mat keywords here that I got earlier on in the video, and let's just say we want to look at common misspellings of yoga, mat and block, for example. So let's just say we were selling a yoga mat with a block. Now what this is going to do is it's going to search for the most common misspellings of those words there, and it's going to tell you which of those words Amazon doesn't autocorrect. So some misspellings, Amazon will say, that's obviously a misspelling, I'll correct it. So maybe like mat with a double T, but other words just spell so incorrectly that Amazon doesn't correct it. So we can see here, yoga. Some people, don't know who, are spelling yoga with a J, 10.5%. Now we can see that the most popular one is mat. 80% of like searches or whatever involving mat might involve the word mat with a double T, but Amazon auto corrects that, so there's no point putting that in your back end. But here's where the opportunity is. If we put yoga with a J in our back end keyword, the chances of us ranking very highly for that, or at top page at least, front page at least, are quite high, because it's unlikely that our competitors would put a misspelling like yoga with a J in their back end. So this is where Misspellinator is quite useful. It's something to bear in mind. If your back end keywords have got room to add a few more, I would recommend doing this, because there are going to be people out there that don't know how to spell certain words. Maybe not yoga with a J, but certainly there are other examples out there of common misspellings, maybe like adapter with an O and adapter with an E, things like that. So it's just another way to kind of get some extra ranking on the front page for certain keywords. So I'd recommend doing this, guys, for your keywords and just having a look at the misspellings that are made. And if there are some where you think, yeah, I think that's quite a good opportunity, I think quite a lot of people would make that mistake, then I would recommend putting that in your back end, and hopefully, not your back end, your back end search terms, not the back end. Put that in your back end search terms, and you'll probably rank quite highly for it, because other people won't have thought to put it in their keywords. Okay, so the remaining tools that I haven't gone through yet are quite small, and there's no point like going through individually, but they are the following. So we've got Index Checker, and what that does is it essentially makes sure that all of your back-end keywords that you've done for your listing, it makes sure that Amazon is recognizing those and that your listing appears for them. So that's something that you definitely need to make sure that you've done as soon as you've completed your listing. For any keywords that you don't appear for, so ones where you're not indexed, you need to make sure that you change the keyword. Now, it's possible sometimes that you'll use a brand name in your keyword list, which isn't allowed. So if you were doing like a charger and you put in MacBook, then Amazon may just suppress the keyword or the listing and not index you for it. So that's what Index Checker is for. It basically just verifies that all of the keywords that you've put in your backend are accepted, and it will make sure that if they're not, it will tell you so you can swap them out. Then the next one is the keyword tracker. Now, that is a really good way of just tracking your product on a day-by-day basis for all the keywords that you think are associated with it, and you can then see where you come in the search results. So if you were saying a yoga mat, you might put in yoga mat, you could put in non-slip yoga mat, yoga block, anything like that, and then you could see where you rank for those keywords, so what search result you appear on, and that can of course help you decide on what keywords you want to target when you're doing your pay-per-click campaign. Then we've got the inventory protector, and that basically just ensures that people aren't going to take the mick when you're doing coupons and things like that. Make sure that they're not able to order like 10 or 20 and then resell them. Then we've got the refund genie, which is quite good to do like once every 6 months or so, and that's where you can run it and check whether Amazon owes you any money for like lost or damaged inventory. Misspellinator we've done, and then alerts, again, this is something that's useful to set up. It will basically email you whenever a product listing, whether your product listing is changed or whether a hijacker comes on board. So that's useful to have when you're out of stock. You don't want to get a hijacker coming onto your listing and trying to sell your product and change the pictures and the title and things like that. So that is another really useful thing to have as part of the Helium 10 suite, and something that's actually new. I think it's only been around for a few weeks. So those are all the tools now, guys. We've gone over all of them together. And I'm sure you can see that it's pretty useful. It includes a huge amount. So let's go on to a quick review now, where I'm going to tell you which ones I think you should get and when. Wow, that was quite a long video, but hopefully I've covered everything that Helium 10 currently offers. I think there are a couple of other things like the follow-up sequencing and the kind of profit tracker, but those are quite self-explanatory. They just kind of do follow-up emails for when customers buy, and the profit tracker allows you to see how much profit you're making. It was the tools that I really wanted to cover to just show you how powerful the entire suite really is. Now, the question is that you'll probably be asking is, what like tools do I need? What plan should I go for? Well, what I would recommend is if you are just starting your Amazon FBA journey, you haven't found a product yet, and you're kind of just learning about it, what I would recommend is that you just go for the a la carte option and you just select your Blackbox and X-Ray. So the Chrome extension and Blackbox, kind of spend a bit of time learning about how to use them and how to do product research. And then once you get a bit more confident, you can think about upgrading to getting the keyword tools to kind of, doing some real in-depth analysis when it comes to keyword search volumes and things like that. Now, as soon as you find your product and when you're like, okay, this is the product that I want to do, I would then recommend upgrading to the Platinum plan, because that's when you can then really start to utilize all of the features that Helium 10 provides. So like doing your listing optimization and your keywords and everything like that. So that is when I would recommend doing that. Now, Helium 10 is a bit pricey. It's $99, I think, for the Platinum price. I've got something great for you guys to make it, a bit more bearable. There's a 50% off voucher in the description below. You just type in Jansen50 when you're signing up and it will give you 50% off your first month. Now, what I would recommend is do that up front, do that for your a la carte method, for the a la carte option. And then as soon as you've done that, when you want to upgrade to the Platinum plan, you can then change over to the 10% off per month. That's what I do, and that's what I would highly recommend that you do as well. If you just go for the Platinum plan straight away up front when you're doing your product research, then you might find that you're not using all of the tools to their full advantage. And another option for you guys is there's a way to get it free. Now, what is that, you might ask? Well, if you join me on the Amazon FBA Smashers course, which I'll also put a link in the description below, you'll get your first month of Helium 10 for free. That's going to be the Platinum plan option. So you don't have to worry about spending any more money or anything like that. You can literally just get the course and it will provide you with everything you need. So it will come with the Helium 10 toolkit. It will come with the tools that I've built myself. So product tracking and like a goal smasher and your inventory tracker, everything like that. So that's another option there, guys. If you want to be like taken on your journey by me, your mentor, then I'd have a look at the Amazon FBA Smashers course as well. So that's it for this week, guys. It's been quite a long video. Hopefully you have learned something. As I say, Helium 10, it's like growing year on year. I think last year they only had like half of these tools, and like every few months they come out with really inventive ideas to make your Amazon FBA journey that much easier. So I would highly recommend checking it out. And if you do have any questions about how to use it or anything else about this video or anything else on the channel, feel free to post down below or in the Amazon FBA Smashers group. Otherwise, guys, I will see you next time.